Welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just in the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today, we got ourselves a banger. Market news analysis. What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share, so other people can spam that like button. All right, yesterday we talked about some liquidity down there at 66,000. That's exactly what got grabbed. We grabbed all of it. We're sitting at 66,829 as of the time of recording. Most of the liquidity has been grabbed. There's a little bit down there at 65K. They're starting to build up a little bit, 65,600. But most of it short-term and long-term. Definitely long-term, it's way imbalanced. But short-term, starting to build up a little bit to the upside. There's a little bit down here as well, but more to the upside on the short term. You can see we still have been kind of ranging here in this same range after we had this big major capitulation event here, like we talked about it, whether you want to call it the selling climax or the spring. This is a major capitulation event in my opinion, and we can tell because of the volume. Again, this is the highest volume that we've had since the Japan rate cut fiasco. All of the days from August 24th until February 4th, none of them had more volume than that day right there. And then we immediately had an equal buying candle and the buying volume right after it, followed by just ranging here. So we kind of came up here, tested the 20 moving average here. Not a clean rejection. What is common and what I could see is something like this with the FTX collapse. FTX went to zero November 9th, and then that was 15,590 or something like that. But we actually went lower a couple weeks later, November 21st. That was the bottom. It wasn't even FTX. It was November 21st, but it was only a couple $100 lower. I could see something like that. This is technically called a test of liquidity or a test. I could see something like that taking place. I have my eyes on November 3rd as sort of the last major event that I have my eyes around. And I think by the time the 15th, 20th gets here, I think we're going to be off to Neverland, so to speak. Up only. No, not really. But I do think we will be on an uptrend from that moment. And probably by April, at a minimum, I think that Bitcoin is going to test this range here and confirm this as a spring. So confirmation that this was our spring is between 7 to 64 days. If we look back at all of the times, I'll just show you a couple. When you have your spring, this is the prior level. To reclaim it, you want to reclaim it within 7 to 64 days is the average. So in this particular case, it was about 16 days we reclaimed it. And then you have the C19 was 54 days. You have the FTX was the longest. That was 64 days. The quickest that we found a spring was April. This was 7 days. So we're already past that. But the longest that we could find was 64 days. So within 64 days, we want to reclaim the prior spring level, which would be something like this to confirm it. Maybe we come down here, maybe we test this, come up there, and then just hold it like that. This would be confirmation if we get a move like that, that was a spring. That would be confirmation that that was it right there, okay? November 3rd. March 3rd, excuse me. April is a long wait. Is it? Well, there's your problem. There's your problem right there, brother. When your time horizon, if I said November 3rd, I meant March 3rd. March 3rd is the last, I misspoke. March 3rd is the last lunar eclipse until 2029, which I've said all along. 2029 to me is, that's the big one. And so the roaring 20s into 2029, that's my general thesis. Obviously, there's going to be nuances. It's not like every single day between then and there, or every single week, or even every single month, or even every single quarter between now and then is going to be up. We're going to have downtrends along the way, but the general trend is going to be up. Almost the same time frame between 2021 two tops. Maybe. Yeah, I didn't mean November 3rd. I was mixing up FTX. If I said November, I was talking about November right here. This was the spring for Bitcoin, and it took 64 days to reclaim. You have this level right here. You lost it in a spring, and it took 64 days to reclaim this same level. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So Bitcoin has this big move, and kind of picture it like this. You have this move where you're chopping. You have a spring down. This was a spring. It took Bitcoin 64 days to reclaim this same level right here. So I'll draw it out for you. So this level right here, we lost it on the spring. It took Bitcoin 64 days to reclaim it. That's what we want to see for confirmation, right? So that's what I'm referring to. That was the longest that a spring took. So if we look at like right now, we have this level of accumulation, just like in the FTX collapse. You have this level. You lose it all violently. What you want to see is reclaiming it and then holding it within 64 days. And that would be confirmation that, hey, that is it right there. The white whale said that I do squiggly lines. So there is your squiggly lines. April 21st to November 21st versus October 25th through April 26th. Maybe. Listen, what I don't think is going to happen, I think that if the bottom's not already in, I think by the 15th of March it will be in. Confirmed. But this is what I think with certainty will not be happening. Waiting for the scheduled dip in October below 50K. I am certain that this will not be happening. That's what I'm certain of. ETH long LFG. Let's go. We had another profitable day today. 2.5K in 12 minutes. We've been longing Ethereum every single day. That's the thing, is like every single one of these, we've been in a downtrend, right? Or we've been sideways or down, mostly on the broader markets, but every single day we're just looking for longs. We're looking for the same setup again and again and again. So that's what we've been doing there. And if you want lifetime access to that, you can DM me for that. Fear and greed currently sitting at 9, and we've just been in this extreme level for a long period of time. I made a video. I haven't uploaded it just yet. What does it take to be a great trader? Consistency, discipline, trading the same thing again and again. I can't play the video because, well, I guess I could play it, but they copyrighted me last time I played it. But yeah, you know what it takes. It takes everything, baby. Remember the Solent giveaways? We're doing it now with staking. You can earn 30%. You get the giveaway that way. You can earn 30% yield on your Solent. Okay, so we talked about Bitcoin. I have a video about the Russell. We talked about this in the group today as well. But, you know, the Russell has been following perfectly. And this is super macro. People get really like caught up and fixated on like wind moon questions and how long is it going to take. This is very macro, but this is the most important thing. Okay. Liquidity flows from the distribution of one asset to another. And we've been talking a lot about this for a long time. But the thing is, like, hey, it's been following it this whole time. We haven't deviated. The whole time I've been talking about it, we've been following it. This fractal from 2021. What is different this time that has not taken place is the Russell went into price discovery and distribution. It did it in 2017 and it did it in 2021. That hasn't happened yet. It has not happened. So here's distribution, right? Textbook distribution. We'll show this. Here we go. Boom. This is distribution. Textbook distribution, right? Buying climax, upthrust, UTAD. They go higher. It's almost like an uptrend, sideways uptrend. That is textbook distribution, right? Liquidity comes from one asset distributing into another. So you have your buying climax, your upthrust, UTAD. This is 2021. Now we're going to break this down and show why is this important. Because new all-time high was November of 20. Then you have the buying climax of the Russell. Then you have the UTAD. Let's show the total three. I think there's a strong argument to be made that the altcoins have been in a bear market the whole time. They've been accumulating the whole time. So you see the new all-time high, the total three was absolutely dead. Bear market lows. The buying climax, there was a little rally, but still pretty dead. From the buying climax, the distribution of one asset into another, that was the whole entire run. Not part of it, not some of it, all of it. It was all during that time frame. And in my opinion, I pulled this fractal a long time ago, and we've just been continuing to meander our way along. We're very, very close to putting in yet again another all-time high. In my opinion, we're somewhere in this range. We've already made new all-time highs. We haven't technically gotten our buying climax yet, but we're somewhere in here. And so this fractal would have the buying climax in April, which is after the last lunar eclipse. The last lunar eclipse until 2029 is in March. The buying climax of this fractal, it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect, but it has us in April. So, month, should we be expecting crypto to top? No. No. Where did you get that thesis, brother? Where'd you get that thesis? Or where'd you hear me say that? In a month, we could see crypto start to heat up. That's what I think. No, we are in extreme value. We are in extreme value right now. What month? I have no idea. We'll be looking for signs of distribution. No clue. One phase at a time. Let's get the breakout and continuation from the Russell, then we'll deal with that. He says these people ain't listening. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share so other people can spam the like button. We'll talk about the altcoins. I think it's like Bitcoin, it's 50-50 whether it's going to test this liquidity or not, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to be a crazy dip. Like people are calling for crazy numbers. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that I'm just more open-minded to like what happened with FTX, right? Where you have this liquidity sweep down here. Bitcoin goes to 15,600. And then a couple weeks later, you eventually sweep the lows and then you go down to 15,400, right? I'm more open-minded to something like that happening rather than what everyone is saying for Bitcoin. And I think it's probably, maybe 50-50 if we get something like that. However, Ethereum, I think there's a strong possibility the bottom is already in for Ethereum. I feel very strong about that. Bitcoin, I think it's probably 50-50. I think that this is the spring structurally. It doesn't mean that the price will never go lower, but I think that the spring structurally is in. There is signs screaming that the Ethereum bottom is in. Look at the volume that came in. We've been honoring this trend line since back in 2022. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people are saying that the altcoins bottomed after Bitcoin. That is not true. That is factually incorrect. That is factually incorrect. March 31st. Should I extend it to April? The buying climax is in April, but I think March 31st, we should have a clear new all-time high. Ethereum hasn't been dropping as much. It's surprising. You know how I know it hasn't been? I've been longing every single day. Every single day, I have not shorted Ethereum one single time. Here is the month of February of me longing Ethereum. every day. If you're in my Telegram group, you know that this is factual information. I have not shorted Ethereum one day. Not a single trade has been a short in Ethereum, and this is the month of February right now. It's only been longs. Only. March 31st, all-time high for the Russell. 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 Let me be very clear. Which is a prerequisite for crypto. Okay. Luna, June of 2022, Ethereum bottoms from the Luna collapse to the FTX collapse, which is where Bitcoin bottoms. Ethereum was up 23%. Okay, look at from the April, right? The April crash, Bitcoin is lower. Bitcoin's lower than the April crash. Right? No one's disputing that we went lower for Bitcoin in April. Same thing. Let's go over here and show this. Ethereum was already on an uptrend by the time FTX came around. Let's show it. Here's the Luna collapse right here. That was the bottom for Ethereum. That was the selling climax for Bitcoin. Bitcoin makes another leg lower. Ethereum. So this is, let's do the percentage gain and percentage loss. From wick to wick. From the tippity-dippity wick to the tippity-dippity wick. Bitcoin was down another 15%. Ethereum was up 23% from wick to wick. Okay, well, let's look at it here. Ethereum from the April crash till now is up 24%. How about Bitcoin? And the April lows. Same thing. %. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's too easy. Everyone is saying this in unison. There are signs all around us that this is not true. I am ding, 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 ding. I am sounding the alarm that this narrative that you're being told is a lie. People are so caught up. But Ski, is it a bear market or not? I don't care. You're worried about the wrong thing. The right thing is Ethereum has bottomed. Ethereum is up 23% from the April lows. Bitcoin's down 18%, just like it did in 2022. We have a similar level of volume coming up, just like it did in 2022. We're the most oversold that we've been since 2018 bear market lows. Okay. Definitely a downtrend. It's definitely been a downtrend, yes. But I think we are at the finality. Should we accumulate right now? I am accumulating. I bought Bitcoin on the last crash at 63K publicly. And I bought XRP on the last flash crash at $1.20, excuse me. Mind you, I sold my XRP publicly in 2025, January 25th, 2025. Guess what? If you go and look at the price, January 25th, 2025, let me know what the price of XRP was. Spoiler alert, it's a lot higher than it is right now. Don't start buying until Bitcoin goes below 55K. What the hell is the difference? Here's the risk, though. Like, let me play devil's advocate here. Let's say you're right. Let's say you're right. Let's say Bitcoin, we're from the future. We know for a fact Bitcoin's going to 54K. We know for a fact, for a certainty. What the hell is the difference between 55K, 60 and 65K? What is the difference between 55K and 65K when Bitcoin's at 250K? What is the difference? Here's the risk, though. What if you're wrong? Like everyone was in 2022, when everyone was telling us that Bitcoin was going to 12K. Everybody was screaming, we're going to 12K. Do not buy until we go to 12K. I heard the same exact nonsense in 2022. And guess what happened? They did not accumulate the very best price. But I'm not wrong. I hope you're right. Because my average price on Bitcoin of 22K is too high. I need to get that up. I don't think that you're correct, though. I hope you are right. But I will not be preaching the same gospel that you are. The gospel of 4-year cycle doctrine, bear market nonsense. I will not be preaching the same gospel. Because the risk is exponential that you don't accumulate the best opportunity that you have in your lifetime. What is the difference between $66,000 and $54,000 when Bitcoin's at 25K or 250K? I'll tell you. You're talking about a 15%. The stocks will do that. For a 5x. You're foregoing a 5x for a potential 15%. When I'm trading, I promise you, I will set up a 5x return for 15% every stinking day of the week. I will do that 1,000 times. That's nonsense. Nonsense. I will set up a 5x return for a 15% loss 10,000 times. That's nonsense. I wish I could cash in my September screenshots. Well, here's a rule of thumb. If it's good enough to screenshot, it's good enough to take profit. We all have our strategies. That's fine. But I will rebuke your strategy to the masses. If I hope that strategy works out for you and you nail that 15%. I hope you do. I really do. But I rebuke it in the name of Jesus for everybody else. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus for everybody else. It's not a good risk to reward. Like, okay, let's say it like this. Flip it. Would you open up a long where the profit is 20%, but the risk is a 5x? Let's say we do $5,000 of margin. The profit is 20%. So what we can profit is, we can profit off of our $5,000 investment. We can profit $1,000. But the risk though for that capital, for that 20%, is a 5x. So we could potentially be losing $25,000. In order to gain, we could potentially lose $25,000 to potentially gain $1,000. That's not a good investment. Even if you're correct. I don't think that that's fundamentally a good risk to return ratio. I think that's a terrible risk to return ratio. I bought at 63K. I hope I get to buy some more at 55K. My plan is to go full port around the 15th. Or if we get a dip, if we get another test of the liquidity at 60K, I'm going to buy some more. I'll probably buy about 25% of what I have. That's my plan. What's the point of buying Bitcoin unless you have 100K? It's not going to make you life-changing money. 2x long term, 10x. Because it's more guaranteed. Like you need to have. Okay, for instance, like if you skip step 1 in 2025, let's say you've been following me the whole time. You've been following me since 2022. If you were following me in 2022, you were buying Bitcoin. You were buying XRP, most likely, at the depths of the bear market. Okay, so from the depths of the bear market, Bitcoin went on to do like a 9x. Now, is that going to change your life? No, it won't, but it will set you up in order to take the next step to change your life. People want to do it off of one trade, but sometimes there's 3 or 4 trades that need to be had. And like in that same scenario, so 70% of my portfolio was XRP and Bitcoin. Bitcoin did about a 9x from the bottom. From my entry, 22K. Let's see what the actual number was from where I exited part of my position. I didn't exit all of it. I should have done more. It did about a 4.3x from my average cost to my average exit. Is that life-changing money? No, it's not. But because Bitcoin was 70% of my portfolio, along with XRP, which did about a 10x for me, realized XRP did an 11x, Bitcoin did a 4x for me. That propped up all the venture capital positions that I was and am bullish on that didn't do so hot. And so again, like I'm paying capital gains taxes in a couple of months. Next month, I'll be paying Uncle Sam because I profited in 2025, even though my venture capital plays did not do what I expected them to do. So maybe not 50%, but I think it should be at least 25%. That's my personal opinion. I understand it's not going to change your life. However, you are killing the game. If you're doing a 4x even, a 3x in a year, you are destroying what you get on the stock market. The only time you can get that type of return is by opening up your own business. You're not going to find that in stocks. So it's still destroying what you can do in real estate, still destroying what you can do in silver and gold, still destroying what you can do in the stock market, still destroying what you can do in the bond market, still destroying what you can do in the insurance market. Okay? So that's why, in my opinion, is it life-changing money? No, but it's a stepping stone towards changing your life. And I hope and pray that everyone changes their life off of one trade, but I think we get caught in a trap sometimes when we have this mindset of all or nothing, when sometimes there's a couple of steps in between. Three cycles will get you life-changing money. It's that long. Yes, 100%. 3 steps. 3 4Xs will do that for you. You 4X your money 3 times. That will be enough. You 4X your money 3 different times. That is enough. 10 grand to 40 grand. 40 grand to 120. No, 160. 160 to close. What is that? 500. 400. 400 will probably change your life. It may not be able to, like, you know, you're retired, you never have to work again, but it might be enough money for you to say, like, you know what, boss, I don't need this. I don't need this job. I'm going to open up my own business. I have enough money that I can live off of for the next, 5-6 years. I can screw up for the next 6 years and grind on this business that's going to change my life. So, I mean, yeah, you 4x 10 grand 3 different times. Yeah, I think that that's the right mindset to have. And along the way, when your portfolio is profiting, there is going to be 10x's, there is going to be 20x's, there is going to be 30x's, but I don't think you want to have the whole portfolio riding on, your one coin like that. You know what I mean? 100K equals a house in my country. In my country, 100K will get you a house. It might not be the nicest house. It might be a fixer-upper, but, hey, there ain't nothing wrong with a fixer-upper. Fix her up. Build some equity in it. Again, people want one step, and sometimes there's 3 or 4 steps. So if I have 50K now, what would you recommend to do? I think that Bitcoin, personally, should be the biggest portion of your portfolio. Whether it's 25%, 35%, 50%, I don't know. You could iron out those details on a coaching call. And then you could have your whatever your favorite altcoin is that's large cap, whether it's HBAR, whether it's XRP, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Solana, whatever your baby is. This is like your favorite coin. That's a large cap. I would have probably 20% into that, 25% into that. And then you could have your venture capital plays. And you could spread it out 5 to, 20 different coins. But those are venture capital plays. Is there any country that doesn't have crypto tax? If you don't sell, you don't pay taxes. There's ways to not... Let me stop. Sonic timeline predictions. This bull market or the next? Before the big one. How about that? How about that? Before the big one. All right, let me make sure I got all these comments here. With that, we'll get into you guys' questions, comments, concerns. I like the one, what would you do with 50K? That's a good one. For me, yeah, Bitcoin should be 25% to 50%. Then you could pick whatever your favorite altcoin is, whether it's HBAR, maybe it's ADA, maybe it's XRP, maybe it's Ethereum, maybe it's Solana, whatever the case may be. I don't know. You could put 25% into that, and then you'd have the rest into venture capital plays. That's how I would do it right now with 50K. Can't start, then stop yourself. I think VeChain is a good play. Like, that could be your number 2 play. Link is a solid play. I think VeChain's a solid play. I think ADA is a solid play. There's lots of solid plays, but I think that people skip the part about having Bitcoin as a significant, prop. Can you repeat that 50K allocation? I would say 25% minimum to up to 50% into Bitcoin. And then you could do half of your, whatever you allocate to Bitcoin, you could allocate to your number 2 altcoin, whether it's Ethereum, Link, VeChain, XRP, Solana, whatever is like it's a big blue chipper. with good tokenomics, you could just pick Ethereum or XRP to keep it simple, HBAR, whatever. I would allocate half of what you did to your Bitcoin, and then you could have 5 to 20 plays maximum, I would say, to allocate venture capital plays. My favorite is Solnic. My favorite is Solnic too. Solnic is my number 100. My portfolio is down from 20K to 2K. What shall I do? All right. This is a good question. This is a good question. But if I do 50K, let me come back to you. I promise you I bought the top in 2017. I promise I bought the top in 2017. And I was down worse than that. I was down worse than 90% from over here. I bought this. I am down on Dash to this day. I am down on EOS to this day. I promise I bought the top in 2017. Okay? The only thing to do once you have done that is research, learn, study about tokenomics, build your investment thesis for the next 10 years minimum, and DCA into the fundamental projects. Try to figure out how you can scrape more money. How can you earn more money so you can invest more? Hopefully into the fundamental projects. Like if I kept doubling down on Dash, that wouldn't have been a winning strategy for me. But that's not what I did. You want to look at the coins with good tokenomics, good fundamentals. And I think Bitcoin should be the biggest portion of your portfolio. And DCA. Have a time horizon of a minimum of 3 years. But if I do that 50K, it might be 40K the next day. It could be. And it could be 80K as well. But your time horizon shouldn't be the next day. It should be the next decade. It should be a minimum of 3 years. If you need that for the next 3 years, you shouldn't be messing with it. Cycles last 15 years. I think 10 years is enough time to do what I'm talking about. $3K is going to take a lifetime. I don't think so. How much do you leverage trade? I leverage trade Monday through Friday. Generally. Sometimes more, but Monday through Friday is when I leverage trade. I'm generally doing 20x leverage. What about Solana? Solana, I think, is a solid project. It's here for the next 15 years. That could be your number 2. I think Solana's solid. I think Solana has a bit of risk because it had so much. I believe in Solana long term. I take payment in Solana. Right? If you want lifetime access to my Telegram group or you want to do a coaching call with me and allocate your entry strategy or your exit strategy, guess what? I take Solana as payment. The risk with Solana, though, I guess it's not that bad. It got all the way to $65. Theoretically, you could get into the $50 because it had such a crazy rally here. It has a bit more to give back, but it has already given a lot of it back, to be honest. But I like Solana. I think Solana is a great project that's going to be here for the next 10 years. That's my thoughts on Solana for sure. You know, everyone's a bit different, but I just think the biggest piece of advice I could give you outside of Bitcoin, when you're looking at your altcoins, you have to look at the tokenomics. You have to figure out the tokenomics. Because that... Yeah, I said it wrong, bro. That's the biggest factor. Is tokenomics is the devil in the details that will wreck people. Yes, Link to me is one of my favorite. Like I have a here's my favorite like 5 or 10 coins. Link is one of them. It's VeChain and Link as far as like blue chippers that I like. I think Link has the exact same setup as Silver. And that's just the most fundamental thing. A Wyckoff accumulation. This fractal on top is Silver. That is the exact same setup here. The same exact setup. This is Silver. Here's the breakout. This is what we call a markup. All right. This is the exact same chart. And guess what? Most of the altcoins with good tokenomics look like this. Hello, man. What's up, fam? I'm watching behind. Damn it. I'm buying at these levels, though. I promise you that. I'm buying my spot buys. I bought at 63K, and I bought at $1.20 for XRP. I feel great about those prices. They're still up. We're down today. Those are still up. If they go down, whatever. My average price is 22K. It doesn't matter. But the worst thing you can do is get shiny object syndrome. Here's how you lose. If you want to lose the most amount of money possible, here's what you do. You get shiny object syndrome. And when it starts picking up again, that's when you get excited about it again. And then when you have a big crash, then you just go away and you stop learning about it. You stop working on your craft and you forget about it and you go do the next thing. You go work on drop shipping. You go work on stocks. You go work on whatever the case may be. You go start buying silver, whatever. That's how you lose the most amount of money possible. Instead of doing that, if you're down, the best thing to do is to learn and grow and really dive into the project. Read their white paper. Why are you holding this? What's their tokenomics? What's their supply? What's their total supply that will ever exist? What exists right now? Work on your craft of charting. Work on your craft of fundamental analyzing. And build your investment thesis out for the next 10 years. That's how you make it through being down. Because guess what? I bought the very top of 2017. That's what I did. I had friends that I was in the army with. They bought the top. I bought the top. They started drop shipping, and I kept learning about crypto. That's the difference. In 2018, I was deep in the trenches, the proper trenches, not what the kids are calling it today. No. That's not the trenches. The trenches is in the depths of the bear market when it sucks. It's not fun. It's not exciting, but that is the very best opportunity. The very best. It's the best opportunity to work on your craft, to learn, to grow. The competition is thin. The competition is heavy. It's easy to look like a winner in the bull market. Anybody can do that. Anybody who's here learning and growing now, those are the savages. Building out your investment thesis now, those are the savages. Those are the future 1%. DCAing now, that's the 1%. That's what it takes. When we've been stuck in maximum fear for the past 3 months, this is not what a top looks like. This is not what a next leg lower looks like. I promise you I bought the top in 2017. This is how you make it through. That's what you got to do. Do not get shiny object syndrome and go away and wait till it gets exciting and come back again. That is the absolute worst thing that you can do. He says, I round trip 60K profit. Don't worry, brother. I've done worse than that. I've sent off whole ass Bitcoins to the ether. People say Bitcoin's going to zero. I say impossible. I made sure of it. I sent off Bitcoins to the ether back in 2014 that will never be sold. Never. Don't worry. I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from all the mistakes that I've made. And I'm trying to be a light in the darkness and say there is a way out. It will get better. And the path is forward. The path is learning from your mistakes. The path is building your own investment thesis and relying on yourself. Sure, come hang out with me every day. Learn as much as you can from me. Learn as much as you can from everyone. Don't rely on me. I'm not your savior. Build your own investment thesis. I'm a guy in my basement. You're watching me on TikTok. You're watching me on YouTube. You're watching me on X. Build your own investment thesis. Don't rely on me. You can listen to me. Listen to all, but trust yourself. How do you trust yourself? Well, you work on your skills. You work on your craft. You work on your investment thesis. Says 10 years is okay if you're a long-term investor, but if you're not drop shipping and trying to do crypto full-time, then how? 10 years isn't enough time horizon for a business. Like, okay, I want you to think about it like this. Would you open up a business tomorrow with the idea like, hey, we're going to open up this business. We're going to make it a Fortune 500 company. It's going to create generational wealth. It's going to create wealth for my kids. It's going to create wealth for my grandkids. It's going to create wealth for my grandkids. But we have to do it in the next 18 months or else. Like, how silly does that sound? How silly does that sound? If it doesn't happen in 6 months, pack it up, boys. How silly does that sound? You cannot have the cake and eat it. If crypto is your full-time business, treat it like a full-time business. If that's your craft, view it like a craft. View it like you're building a Fortune 500 business from the ground up, that you're trying to plant trees that you yourself may never be able to sit under the shade of the trees that you are planting right now. How are you going to fund it, though, if you're not talking about drop shipping? Listen, I have nothing against drop shipping. That's not the point. The point is, if someone is a drop shipper, they should work on that craft. The point is not to have shiny object syndrome of, I wanted to get rich quick doing this thing, it didn't work, so now let me go try drop shipping. I'm not against drop shipping. I'm against people who have never been in drop shipping, and they just went from one thing to this new shiny thing. I'm using it as an example. What I'm saying is, people went from crypto, that didn't work out, I didn't get rich, I didn't build generational wealth, let me go buy silver now. Whatever, insert X thing that they were not doing 6 months ago, but now it's the new shiny thing. You know what I'm saying? What's my price on Link? My average price on Link is $5.50. How much money do you 20x leverage? Like 15 to 25K. It's been a while. Have you moved to the farm yet? I have not. So we're taking the slow route. So the plan was to sell my house, take the proceeds from that, and I had two options. My personal house. There was two options. There was the short path and the long path. My gut all along was telling me to take the long path. Take the long, slow road. My gut was telling me that all along. So we listed the house. The market was pretty cold. We had a lot of people viewing the house, but no serious offers. And there's kind of a game of chicken going on in the housing market, and people have this idea that like 2008 is on the horizon. But the difference is in 2007, people had variable interest rates. I have a fixed interest rate at 3%. Like, I will win that game of chicken. I am not willing to budge on my price because I don't need to. And the issue was me coming out of the Army. I'm self-employed now. You have to have 2 years of tax filings being self-employed. And I'm coming up on that now. So we're going to keep the house as a rental property and probably move out in the summer or fall. That's the plan. Which is the slow path, but the better wealth creation path. Only Ethereum. How high you think Link can go? I think 40 to 70. 40, 38, 78, 178. Those are my three targets. That's where I'm going to be exiting. All three of those. All three of y'all. Get an equity line of credit. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. What percent exit on Link? It just depends. Everyone is different. Listen, Tim, I do offer one-on-one coaching with people to nail down a specific strategy, but the general strategy is 30%. All right, guys. I'll be live tomorrow. Reminder. Whoopsies. Where did my thingamajig go? I'll be live tomorrow. Reminder, if you want lifetime access to the Telegram, you can hit me in the DMs for that. We're running a sale right now. We trading every single day, Monday through Friday. We've had 12 winning days, 1 losing day in February. I am live streaming it. It's not supposed to be fun or entertaining. Okay? Just full transparency. I'm not selling you the cure of cancer or whatever. It's not meant to be fun or entertaining. I live stream it just so I can call out exactly what I'm thinking, when I'm thinking, why I'm thinking it, and the exact entries and exits so people can get better scalping positions. So we do that Monday through Friday. I also put out my if-then statements. There's exclusive videos in that. Lots of really good value. So if you guys are interested in that, you can hit me in the DMs. If you want to book a coaching call with me and get some one-on-one coaching, you can do so. You can book me on my Calendly. That also comes with lifetime access to the Telegram. But that is going to be it for this time, guys. I will be live tomorrow. I'll be live with Alex tomorrow, or on Friday as well. But that's going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is @Gajewski, GAJEWSKEY. If you search your boy Ski, just make sure the handle is @Gajewski, YABOYSKEY. Because there's impersonators. My handle is my last name. I think that's pretty cool. That's where the ski comes from, by the way. Gajewski, SKEY. Ski, SKEY. Gajewski. I'm Polish, if you didn't know. So there you go. Just make sure there's lots of scammer accounts. I'm not going to message you and ask you for money. I'm not going to ask you how your trading's going. None of that stuff. If you DM me, I will DM you back. But I'm not going to DM you and ask you for money. Okay? I'm happy to verify I'm the real Ski as well. If you don't know, we can hop on a 2-minute Google call, whatever. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for this time. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.